Hey everyone, it's Brett Hornby here, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, and welcome back to another Calgary Stampeders game day video post. We're in week number 17 of the 2023 CFL Regular season, as we are wrapping up September on Saturday, September 30th, also known as the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. Hence why I got orange in the background, orange thumbnail, and actually both teams, both the Calgary Stampeders and the Hamilton Tiger Cats, they're going to have Indigenous themed logos, so I'll put that in the thumbnail, and both teams are going to understand we'll wear orange during warm-ups, as it's also Orange Shirt Day. Phyllis Webstad started the movement where she wore an orange shirt back in 1973 to go to a residential school, and the school stripped that orange shirt off of her back then, and then the Orange Shirt Day campaign started in 2013 in Williams Lake, British Columbia. So orange means every child matters, and we're up to the at least having a stat holiday for National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. So I gotta put that in there, and the CFL definitely has done a good job to at least bring awareness and tie it in with their games, including the digital logo. But for the game at hand, the Calgary Stampeders are running out of lives and runway in video game world, as the Calgary Stampeders are 4-10 coming into this one, as they pretty much need to run the table the rest of the way, while the Hamilton Tiger Cats are 6-8. They are third in the East Division. Calgary is fourth in the West Division, which means with this game, the Calgary Stampeders, I'd say they need to run the table the rest of the way to finish 8-10 to hopefully still have a chance to make the playoffs. Well, this game at stake, it's Tim Hortons Field, 5 p.m. kickoff. Well, the Calgary Stampeders only play Hamilton once this season, and this is not exactly going to be the Bo Levi Mitchell reunion game because he is still out on the sidelines, but they still got Taylor Powell, who has been at quarterback for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and he's been doing an admirable job filling in for Bo, and I'm going to say Hamilton still keeps finding ways to win, but if they happen to win this game, that would eliminate the crossover possibility, because Hamilton is 6-8. You need a record to clearly be ahead of that team to cross over. So Calgary, the best they can do is 8-10. If they lose, the best they can do is 7-11, and 7-11 would at worst tie, but won't necessarily facilitate a crossover. But the Calgary Stampeders once again have a chance to potentially gain ground and stay in the West Division, as the Saskatchewan Roughriders, they lost last night to the BC Lions. It was 38-26, I believe, and Saskatchewan is 6-8. So there's still a chance for the Calgary Stampeders to possibly get in the playoffs, both either staying in the West or still looking at possibly crossing over into the East. But they do say they need to run the table, as I mentioned. Calgary is going to have Trey Roberson back at defensive back. However, be interested to see how the offensive line will work tonight, because our all-star center, local guy in Sean McEwen, he is injured on the one-game injured list, so Roman Brown will be at center, so hopefully that will not affect protection for Jake Mayer or any runs for the Stampeders, still with Kadeem Carey and Dedrick Mills. But I just feel this one, the Calgary Stampeders, they didn't look too inspired last week against the Montreal Alouettes when we lost 28-11 at home. And they say Calgary's down to 4 games left on the regular season. After this week, they go on their third bye of the regular season, so they'll have to do some scoreboard watching, especially if they do happen to win tonight, because the next home game will be at home for Calgary. They'll be taking on the Saskatchewan Roughriders. That will be on Friday night, October the 13th. After tonight, the Calgary Stampeders, they have Saskatchewan at home. Then they got BC on the road and Winnipeg at home to wrap up the regular season. And tonight will go a long way if the Calgary Stampeders will have something to play for in the stretch when it comes to playoffs, and not necessarily for pride and jobs for next season, both on and off the field. But that's how I feel about the Calgary Stampeders for this game to wrap up September on National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. That the Calgary Stampeders they're running out of chances, like running room and runway, as we are 4-10. Need to run the table and get some help along the way if we are going to make the playoffs. And like I say, the other two scenarios is going to be either finishing third in the West Division, taking out the Saskatchewan Roughriders, but we'll be on the road to take on either the BC Lions or the Winnipeg Blue Bombers on the road. Another scenario won't be as good, or hopefully maybe can cross over and maybe overtake the Hamilton Tiger Cats and play in the East semifinal against the Montreal Alouettes. And these are three teams that I mentioned that the Calgary Stampeders, they have not beaten at all this season. So pick your poison. But I'm just hoping that we'll still see, just some pride and pushback better than what I've seen recently out of the Calgary Stampeders. Last week definitely felt like a huge blow. It was tough being read, especially last week at McMahon Stadium. But we'll see how they do on the road, minus Bo. The only positive I can say about Bo being on the sidelines is that he won't necessarily have a chip on his shoulder and throw 500 yards and show the team that they made a mistake. So close out and say, if you want to follow along with this Calgary sports fans journey, just make sure you hit like and subscribe. I have my other social media links down in the description below. But as is my Calgary Stampeders any post, also tie in a little bit of National Day for Truth and Reconciliation flavor, as well as they're both the case today. And it's nice to see the CFL teams come out with these indigenous, logos that they can consulted the local tribes in the area. So I want to say thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.